Hello and welcome to Ballymore. I'm Scott Young and this is the lead-up for Sunday's Premier Grand Final between Brothers and East. Joining me in commentary is QR Reds coach Phil Mooney. Phil, tell us a little about this classic trophy, the Hospitals Cup.
It's a fantastic trophy, Scott. It was first played for in 1899. I think the Pass Grammar School won it. Our combatants today, Brothers and East, this is the third occasion that they've played off. I don't think East will be paying much attention to history today. Two previous encounters in 1971 and 1984, both won by Brothers, so we shall certainly be determined to rewrite history today.
Yeah, and Brothers are looking to break a 21-year drought today.
Yeah, look, it's been a long time between drinks for both clubs. Brothers, I think, last won in 1987 and East back in 1999. They won't be paying much attention to that. I think Brothers may have a slight advantage having played in the decider back in 2006. So they've got some guys that have some grand final experience, and I think that may be important.
Okay, you're going to go and talk now to the coaches. So let's hear what you've got to say with them.
Friday morning, we're at the grand final breakfast. Rob, 2 days from the grand final, how's the preparation gone?
Preparation's been really good this week, Phil. We had a really good light session on Tuesday. A few bumps and bruises from the weekend against Sunnybank, obviously. One or two minor injuries that we had to take care of. And we had a good structural type session last night. So the week's gone really, really well so far.
Look, I think it's an exciting time in any club player's life to be playing in a grand final. You have a core group of guys that played in the 2006 decider. Do you think that will play any significance today?
Yeah, I do. I mean, they'll be able to take the experience from that occasion into Sunday. I'm just talking to the boys before, sort of get a bit of a count because I wasn't with the club then, but probably 60% of them carry over into this final. There's a couple that weren't there, like Simon Price and Anthony Saw, so they're really keyed up because they missed that final to get into this one here. But yeah, we will take some good experience into Sunday.
Okay, I guess we fast forward to 5-3 on Sunday, and what are Rob Murdoch's final instructions to the team just prior to running out?
Oh, without giving anything tactically away, I guess it's just about enjoying the occasion, isn't it? This doesn't come along that often. Maybe it's a little bit cliche, but this could be the last time these players play together as a group. And they've just got to seize the moment. That's what it's all about, and just get out there and enjoy themselves. They've worked hard since October last year to be here, so now it's taking advantage of that and going and enjoying it. Yeah.
Fantastic. You've had a great year, Rob, and all the best in the big one.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
I'm joined now by East coach Pat Richards at the grand final breakfast. Pat, I guess the question on all rugby supporters' minds at the moment, how's the hamstring of fly half Matt Brandon?
It's a day-by-day sort of prognosis. He's probably about 50-50. He's improved a hell of a lot since the injury occurred a couple of weeks ago. He had a light run last night and sort of tried to stretch it out a bit, but we'll wait until Sunday morning to make a decision there.
Must be very comforting for you to know that you've got Andrew Walker in the wings, highly experienced dual international.
Yeah, Walks has been really good value all season, and he works very well with Matt, so they sort of interchange a bit throughout the game. So, not saying that it won't be a loss not to have Matt there, but if that's the case, Walks is ready to walk in.
I guess, Pat, with a young side outside of Walks, it's an exciting time. How do you keep a lid on the excitement levels leading into the game?
It's been pretty good. The boys, the young blokes are outstanding, really. I mean, they're pretty sensible sort of kids, and when I say that, young men. But they, all season, they've been really good with regards to taking it week by week, and that's been our philosophy for the whole time. We haven't looked too far ahead of ourselves. We're just learning from mistakes from last year, and and I think that's part of the secret of keeping a lid on it.
And I guess finally, what will the point of difference be for East? Why will they be the 2008 premiers?
I just think that in games like finals, obviously, that it'll come down to the breakdown, and both sides have very good back rows. And I think at the end of the day, defence wins games, and our defence has been outstanding all year, and I think that's just going to be the secret ingredient that's going to get us there. In saying that, when we played Brothers in the second half of the draw, their defence was really good, and they stepped up and they beat us at the breakdown convincingly. So, it'll be an interesting one, but it'll be a great game. But I'm sure we'll win on come out on top.
We're all looking forward to the game, Pat. All the best.
Thanks, Phil. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
So there we have it. That's a coach's view. Now, Phil, what's your take on all this?
Yeah, Scott, I think Brothers derive some comfort from the fact that they've got a core group of players that played in the 2006 decider, and that experience may prove very valuable come kick-off on Sunday afternoon. East, on the other hand, have got a youthful side, a lot of enthusiasm there. It'll be interesting to see how they keep a lid and harness that enthusiasm, but I think we're going to see a keenly contested grand final, and one that I'm really looking forward to.
Just one quick question. Do you think East have a psychological advantage in the fact that they played in the major semi and had a week off straight through the grand final?
Yeah, look, I think any time you're playing a grand final against a side that you beat, and you beat reasonably comfortably in the end, has to give you some sort of advantage. But it now comes down to one game and how both sides can handle the pressures that come with that.
And talking of Sunday, we'll be back after this break with the big one, Brothers versus East. So here come East, led out by their captain Jade Ingham. Perfect conditions here at Ballymore.
Fantastic afternoon for rugby here, and good support for the Tigers on the hill.
Yeah, that hill's just about overflowing there. Great support. The East Club have brought in a number of buses of supporters, and of course Brothers have also got a huge support base here. And key players in this East line-out. Here comes Brothers, led out by Brendan McGibbon. The key players in this East line-up, Phil?
Oh, Scott, I think most interest initially will be on the fly half Matt Brandon, coming into this match with major fitness concerns on his hamstring. So I think we'll all be interested to see how Matty goes. East, to me, dominated Brothers in the back row in the major semi-final. Just looking at the Brothers side now, obviously the key players there, David Croft, the Queensland Reds stalwart, Captain Brendan McGibbon, who's been the leading point scorer in the competition this season, and out on the flank, Paul Donnelly, the leading try scorer.
And he's a late inclusion for the Brothers side. And there we see the substitutions for Brothers, and of course the head coach is former referee Rob Murdoch, and he's assisted by Desi Kassane. So there we have the East side, Captain Jade Ingham, and key players here.
Yeah, look, as I said, I think Matty Brandon will be looking how he gets through with his leg injury, and I think number 11, Aidan Tua, a young guy who the Queensland Reds have recently signed, has a lot of ability. And
it'll be an interesting matchup between Phil Braverman and David Croft as well. And then we have the subs for East, and of course head coach Pat Richards and Andrew Scottney. Now we've got a moment's silence this morning, some sad news. Roy Prosser, unfortunately, a West stalwart, passed away just recently.
Roy, a former Wallaby front rower, played 25 tests for the Wallabies, played for the Northern Suburbs Club in Sydney, and coached West to their first ever first grade premiership in 1987. A great rugby man, will be sorely lost.
So referee today is Paul Marks. His assistant referees are Stephen Hill and Craig Hills. And of course Paul Marks, a Super 14 referee. So it'll be Andrew Walker kicking off. East running right to left in the screen. Perfect conditions here, a slight breeze. Looks like it will be favouring East. And referee Paul Marks is just checking with Brendan McGibbon. And we're just about, here we go. We get the grand final underway with Andrew Walker with a short kick. And that's taken nicely there by Brothers. So we've got them all about 3 metres outside their 22. That's Brendan McGibbon digging in there for the ball. On to Murphy. Long cut out to his brother Damon, and Damon will put a clearing kick downfield, which is taken by number 11, which is Aidan Tua for East. And East set up a ruck just outside the 10 metre line on Brothers' side. There's big Jade Ingham, their number 2 and their captain. Nice run there by Ingham. And Curtis Franks, great run there by Curtis Franks. On to Adam Prue-Cannon, Phil, and I was speaking to Andrew Scottney before the game. Prue-Cannon is from Saracens, played for England's under-18s, and Scott's has got big raps on him.
Yeah, look, he's certainly been a valuable member of the East Side since he's arrived from London, and we'll be interested to watch him today, playing an important role for the Tigers.
So it's Jade Ingham again with the quick tap. There was a series of free kicks given there by referee Paul Marks. Brothers weren't back. There's advantage again. He's gone for the penalty here. He said that was a ruck, and of course under the ELVs, it normally would be a free kick for hands in the ruck, but referee Marks has deemed that as deliberate. So is this going to be the first opportunity for East in this grand final?
Andrew Walker, the veteran, has elected to kick for goal. I think the breakdown's going to be critical today. If anything, that was a real area of dominance for the Tigers in the major semi-final. I know brothers have worked very hard during the week. It's a massive focus for them, and the battle between the veteran Croft against the Tyro Phil Brabham will be an interesting one, and I think will go a long way towards determining the 2008 premiers.
And of course in the earlier rounds, Brothers defeated East on both occasions, but in that major semi-final it was a big boil over when East came up and defeated Brothers, and certainly the underdogs got up on that day. In the early matches today, the Premier Colts, Sunnybank 15 defeated East 10, and in first grade, Brothers 35 defeated Jeeps 30, so the Brothers Club doing quite well in that earlier game. So here's Andrew Walker with the first kick of the game. So Walker, there's no doubts about that. It's 3 points to nil. 3 minutes gone in the grand final. East lead by 3 points to nil.
I think that'll be a real settler for the young East side. Always good to get first points on the board, and as I said, that'll settle the nerves, and they can now try and get into their rhythm.
So Brothers with this restart will be McGibbon again, who of course was the leading point scorer in the Trinity Rugby Premiership this year, 223 points. And interestingly enough, despite the ELV's increase, that's Pre-Cannon taking the ball there for East. Nice take by him. Got up quite high there, lifted by his supporters, and Curtis Franks in at halfback goes searching for the ball. Back to Andrew Walker, a clearing kick. Is that going to find touch? No, it's straight to Ant Sauer, and he's passed it back to the fullback Damon Murphy, who's passed it on to McGibbon with a kick downfield. And that ball will go, that will find good ground there. That's a good kick by McGibbon.
Yeah, under the ELVs, the ball was thrown back to Andrew Walker there in the 22, so he was unable to kick it out on the full. Unfortunately for East, though, kicked it straight to Ant Sauer on the wing. Back in field to Brendan McKibben, and that was a great return kick.
So line out to East, that's Ingham throwing in. Pre-Cannon takes the ball again, and referee Marks said that the players from Brothers were all over him, so that's a penalty. So penalties and free kicks favouring East at this stage. And of course you're not allowed to take the player in the air.
Yeah, I think this would have to be a bit of a concern for Brothers coach Rob Murdoch. The discipline has let them down on a few occasions of recent times. They had 2 men in the sin bin in last week's preliminary final, and already the penalty count is starting to mount against Brothers, so they'll have to be wary.
I know that was one area of concern that Rob Murdoch did have going into this game. So a line out on the 10-metre line inside Brothers' side. We see the ball out to Brandon. Oh, and the ball unfortunately is knocked on, so the referee's playing advantage. And Croft has picked that up. And Croft, he's run about 10 metres there, passes it back to Damon Murphy, the fullback. The flying fullback there. Great footstep there. And we've got a ruck formed about 10 metres in the east side of the halfway line. Well, Damon Murphy was a great addition to the Brothers team last weekend, Phil.
Yeah, he's a player with vast experience with the Australian Sevens side. Yet to make his mark in the 15s game at the higher level, so I guess he'll be very determined today to have a big game here.
As we see a big run by number 4 for Brothers, Matt Dews. The pick and drive there. His Brothers starting to gain a bit of momentum here. It's Murphy that's gone into half-back. He passed on to his brother. That's Nathaniel Gendel there. In fact, it was James Harvey.
Interesting, Scott, in the background. Matt Brandon on the open wing. He looks to be labouring with his running, so it'll be interesting to see how long Matt actually lasts in this grand final.
It's Damon Murphy. Good run there by him. Croft is first there, so Brothers getting to that breakdown very quickly. McGibbon again. It's passed out to Simon Price. Referee's playing advantage there. It's McGibbon again picking up the ball at the base of that ruck. So Brothers have run about 20 metres here. A good opportunity. They're into the East 22 for the first time in this match. That's David Croft.
Brothers have made their intentions clear, looking to move the ball on all opportunities. So it all bodes well for a very open grand final.
It's Murphy. Ruck again right on East 22. But referee Mark said there was no advantage there, so we go back to the penalty. So that penalty is back on the 5 metre line, so the 15 metre line, just on the other side of the 22 in East 22. So Brendan McGibbon saying straight away we'll go for the point. So there's an opportunity for Brothers to even up the game.
Brendan's been the outstanding goal kicker in the competition this year. It's well within his range, and we may well see the game levelled at 3-3 after 8 minutes.
We've also got Morgan Chuanui in commentary with us, who flew back from Sydney this morning. Played for Randwick yesterday. Morgan, good win yesterday, I hear.
It was a good win for Randwick, but they needed it after a couple of losses, so they're still in the hunt with the finals. But I think the interesting thing here so far is you see the fine line that Brothers walk at the breakdown. The great power to their players, their abrasiveness there, and already they've given away a few penalties walking that fine line. But the way they're working when they've got the ball is that penalty goal goes straight over to make it 3-3 after 8 minutes. That when they go well at the breakdown, they play well on the front foot. So they'll have to continue to watch how many penalties they give away, but also make sure they don't lose that abrasiveness that has got them this far.
Well, that 3 points was a direct result of Brothers putting enough pressure at the breakdown against East there, and of course McGibbon, no doubts about putting that straight over the black dot. So 3 points all. 32 minutes to go in the first half here at Ballymore, with Andrew Walker at the restart. And East have won that, it's good work, but Liam Shaw has now picked up the spoils there. East knocked it back, and it's a free kick again to East for holding on. Liam Shaw isolated there. So this penalty count free kick really starting to mount against Brothers at present moment. So Curtis Franks will take the quick tap. No, he won't. And of course they'll take the scrum, which of course is a huge tacking opportunity now at these ELVs, Phil.
Certainly is. I'll be interested to see how the scrum battle unfolds today. I was surprised with the dominance that East actually attained in the semi-final at the line-out. The scrum was evenly contested. Since that semi-final, Reds player Sean Hardman has had surgery and is not playing in the grand final. That's a solid scrum from East and gives them a good attacking platform.
So it's East on attack. That's David Lucas with the ball. Great run by Lucas. He's got a man outside him in Tua, but he won't need him. It'll be bundled into touch there. Good run there by East.
These young backs have shown a lot of intent during the season. Former Red Andrew Scottney has done a great job with their backline. Quite an adventurous team, and once again, given the opportunity, they've gone wide to use the speed of David Lucas and Aidan Tour on the flanks.
So a crucial line out here for East inside the Brothers 22. It's well taken at the back of the line out there. So East on attack here. Curtis Franks looking for that ball at the ruck. Out to Brandon. Great run. Fantastic run by number 12.
Herman Porter.
Here's an opportunity. Overlap. Aidan Tour came off his wing. And here's the first try of the grand final.
That's a great try from East. Inside centre, Herman Porter was very incisive, made the initial break, popped to his Samoan centre partner, Pale Talupi. Fantastic supporting from that breakdown. Quick ball, shifted wide to the right where David Lucas finished very well.
So Morgan, good work there by the East backs.
Yeah, and they just showed the way the Brothers defend with their fullback right across covering the open and their open winger tight. But if you make any incision through the midfield as the East centres did there, then you've got them on the hop. And great work from Aidan Tour working off the blind wing, and I think he gets over on the right hand side helping with Andrew Walker score in the right corner. So really good work off the ball by the East back three. And it's now 8-3 with the kick to come for Andrew Walker right on the sideline.
Of course, Aidan Tour will be touring with you guys when you leave on Tuesday for Ireland and France.
Yeah, Aidan's a fine young prospect, only 18, comes from Churchie, and has played very well for East this year. So he's an exciting prospect, and I'm sure that he'll go really well on the upcoming tour.
So Andrew Walker with this conversion attempt out wide after that fantastic try by East. this to take it to 10 points to 3. So Walker. Unfortunately, that saved the uprights.
I think Andrew Walker was playing Premier Grade rugby when the year Aidan Tua was born. Certainly been around a long, long time.
In fact, he's the oldest out there today at 35 years of age, and Aidan Tua is the youngest at 18. So
Andrew's had a great career, dual international.
So East with the restart. That's Prio Cannon going up high again. They'll use him all day for that restart.
Certainly looks to have fantastic aerial skills.
He certainly does. So here's Andrew Walker, the up and under, the midfield bomb. That's a good kick. And David Crofts is going to take that out to James Harvey. And brothers take the spoiling ball there and set up a ruck about a metre short. Here's Brendan McGibbon out to Simon Price, who's taken by Prio Cannon. Good tackle, but referee Marks is going to call that back for a knock-on.
Yeah, once again, have major concerns about Matt Brandon here. Looks to be quite distressed in the background. Obviously favouring that hamstring. It's a real pity for him. He's worked very hard during the season, was pivotal to the Tigers' upset in the major semi-final. But unfortunately, it looks like that may be his afternoon.
Yeah, well, he scored that brilliant individual try in the major semi-final, which was absolutely crucial. There's Price off the back of the scrum to Damon Murphy, back to Damon. So it's Murphy, big hit there. That was Andrew Walker. Referee Marks has called timeout here.
There's a great tackle by Walks then. Not noted for his front on defence, but he certainly made a statement there.
There's a bit of fisticuffs going on here. The players will need to have to be careful because of the fact that under QRU there's a scuffle off the ball here. Under QRU laws, of course, any punch is an immediate send-off, so the players will have to be careful. James Harvey, number 13, in there as well, getting as good as he took.
Got players down in the background. Phil Brabham with East.
There's Phil Brabham down.
Damon Murphy looks to be...
So it's erupted slightly here.
Looks to be injured after that great hit by Walker. Looks like Phil Brabham's gone. The East medical staff calling for a stretcher, and Damon Murphy doesn't look much better.
So referee Marks calls timeout.
He looked like he copped that tackle from Andrew Walker around the jaw, Damon Murphy. He didn't look comfortable straight away. And Phil Brabham, he hasn't moved since that tackle. He went to that ruck and he hasn't moved, and there's a pile of bodies, so it's hard to know what actually happened at the bottom of that ruck. And I know Andrew Walker will feel himself a bit unlucky there to be penalised for a free kick, because it was a dominant tackle and it's hard for you to roll away when guys are flying in. But be interesting to see with the two assistant referees in now talking to referee Marks what they come up with and which way this will go, and there'll have to be some repercussions for a pretty much all-in melee.
Damon Murphy up on his feet, which is a good sign for all brother supporters. Phil Brabham, though, looks like it's the end of his afternoon.
Yeah, it looks like it's a knee injury there to Phil Brabham. So the QRU medical staff out there just checking with Dr. Phil Manfield as well.
As you mentioned, Phil, Damon's a very experienced player across a lot of the sevens, and I think someone from the physio staff must have told him they had the penalty and he could get up, because he looks like he's not too bad. He's just on his haunches now, but he should be fine to continue.
Already Murphy's come up the short ball a couple of times from McGibbon. He's going to be crucial in this game.
Yeah, definitely. He is an incisive runner. I think if he does have if you could make issue with that, sometimes the times when he chooses to run, he could probably be a little bit more judicious at times. But I guess it is a skill of his, and he does back himself.
So Phil Brabham's back on his feet as well, and that clash between he and Croft today is interesting. They both went to Gregory Terrace. Crofty finished in 1996 and Brabham in 2006, so 10 years apart.
Yes, and Crofty over showing a little bit of mock concern here, I think, for his opposing seven here. As you say, both schoolmates.
So still a bit of concern showing here for Phil Brabham.
Yeah, no, it's great news for all of these supporters though. Phil is up. It's like he's...
That's Sean Hourigan, I think, out there, one of the East trainer there. Of course, the former first grade player Hoogs. In fact, I think he won the Rothmans medal a couple of times.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Phil Brabden's okay.
Sean was a great stalwart for East, very tough player.
And no surprises who's being called out. Liam Shaw, it's a red card. That's pretty sensational news, a red card. Must be from the assistant referee's report because it's hard to see what happened in there.
Well, that's crucial in this game. A red card at this stage of the match with 26 minutes to go in this first half. And there's a yellow card as well given. Have a look at that.
That's dreadful news for Brothers to have a player red carded after 13 and a half minutes. And Liam Shaw is the go-to man in the line-out for Brothers. So it's extremely disappointing. And once again, it appears that discipline has let Brothers down.
So Lachlan Walker also goes to the sin bin. That's number 5 for East. So Liam Shaw red carded and Lachlan Walker yellow carded. So an unfortunate start to this grand final. So penalty goes to East.
Referee Mark signalling there a punch or a bit of a swinging arm there, so that's obviously why Liam Shaw's been sent from the field. And that really changes the landscape of this game now. And you saw the experience of David Croft. As soon as that red card was shown, he pulled the whole Brothers team in and he's taken charge straight away of that situation.
Okay, so we've got a line out on the 10-metre line inside Brothers half. Jodiam throwing the ball in for East. So crucial occasion in this match. Obviously, one of the assistant referees gave referee Paul Marks an indication there that the punch was thrown by Liam Shaw. So that's jumping up high. It's not Adam Buchanan. It's number 5. Number 6 Luke Battoni.
Look, that is disappointing. I think, Scott, to have a player sent off in a grand final. I'm not advocating foul play, but I think in a grand final, officials, maybe need to take that into account. It's the most important game of the season, quite obviously, and for one team to be reduced to 14 men after 13 and a half minutes, it can have a major impact, obviously, on the outcome.
Okay, we've got a replay of the head-high tackle of Andrew Walker. Here we go. Okay, scrum packing down after the knock-on by Matt Brandon. So scrum with Brothers feeding the ball in. Brendan McGibbon out to Murphy. Out to James Harvey. And Paul Donnelly's in there in the ruck. And so it's a ruck to Brothers just on the east side of halfway. It's Brett McGibbon on to
Matt Brandon getting caught wide in defence. I'm surprised that Brothers haven't identified that and tried to attack at him. Get some multiple runners down his channel. As I've said, clearly labouring with that hamstring. So I'll be interested to see if and when any messages come from the Brothers coaching staff to keep their eyes up and look for Matt in the east defensive line and try and attack him.
Yeah, just prior to the high tackle from Andrew Walker that led to the all-in, he was on the left-hand side wing when Murphy made that break, and I'm sure they've identified him the first time. I'm surprised they didn't take him on again.
So line right on halfway with Adam Benny throwing that in. Out to McGibbon, to Murphy, back inside to James Harvey. And the spoils there by Dan Kilmartin. So ruck just inside the east half.
Look, I think this is starting to take a little bit of the same shape as the major semi-final. East were very successful at slowing down the Brothers' ball at the breakdown. Like all sides, Brothers are relying on fast ball, good front football. They've got some really good ball runners, but East have been successful at slowing down the breakdown and enabling them to get their defence set.
Here's Andrew Shaw with the ball. Good work by the Brothers forwards and backs there. And here's a good run by Andrew Shaw again. Great ball, he needed to pop it inside to Croft, who was there. So we've got play right on the 10-metre line in the east half. A free kick given there. Quick tack taken.
The Brothers have got numbers out here on the grandstand side.
David Croft, good run by Croft.
If this ball shifted, we've got to try in the right-hand corner here.
Murphy out to his brother Damon Murphy. Good run by Damon Murphy. Oh, he's knocked it on. Disappointing there for Brothers, so referee marks the play advantage, but Brothers had that overlap then, Morgan.
Yeah, when you're down to 14 men, you need to take those opportunities, and James Harvey tried to come underneath Damon Murphy as he drifted across field, and just a small miscommunication that can cost you, and they really need to take these opportunities while they're on the front foot.
Yeah, I think Brothers are probably a little bit rattled at the moment. Just looking at the replay of the send-off incident.
Now there's the inside ball to Damien. Oh, there's the high tackle by Andrew Walker. It seemed to start sort of around the chest and go up.
And you can see Walker and Lambshaw scrabbling on the ground there as they go off screen. So that's obviously where the incident happened.
And we're back live, and after an East line out, East with a ruck. It's Curtis Franks to Andrew Walker. Nice little chip through. Can he regather? And it's Murphy that picks it up.
Nathaniel Gandel.
So there's David Croft. He's lost it forward, unfortunately, and it's picked up there by Pat Ritchie for East. On to number 12, Herman Porter, who's put the up and under, and Damon Murphy collects that ball.
Look, I think East need to be a little better with their kicking game at the moment. The high kicks to Damon Murphy have to be contestable. If not, they have to be fine.
Here's Harvey with a run. Good run by Harvey. Pops it back into number 3, Adrian Dixon. Knockback, says referee Paul Marks. Here's Dallin Murphy with a great run down the far side. And again, Brothers have knocked that on at the last minute. So Brothers from open play are very dangerous.
They certainly are. They're just lacking a little bit of composure at the moment. They're getting aside of that try line and just pushing the pass. A couple have gone to ground now. A little bit more composure. And I'm sure there's a couple of tries that have gone begging.
So Jade Ingham teeing up his players there.
That was a great despairing tackle by Pat Ritchie early on there in that movement on James Harvey. They had 3 on nobody if he didn't make that tackle, and even though they made a half break, it gave time for his defence to get across, and they just saved it in that corner. And that's the second time in 3 or 4 minutes Brothers have had a really good chance of converting the pressure they put on East into points, and I suppose they've got to worry about the petrol they'll have in the tank with 14 men playing this kind of footy as well, and those ELVs really sap it out of you as well. So it's important they get some reward for all the play they've had in the last few minutes.
So just over 19 minutes to go in the first half, with East leading Brothers by 8 points to 3.
And here he is that Matty Brandon down?
No, Brandon's... No, it looks like Phil Bradman again, is it? In fact, it's number 6, Luke Bertoni, the injured player, down for East.
Luke's had a great season for the Tigers as well. So I'm sure they'll be anxious to make sure that he can continue.
Well, it's been a fairly open grand final to start with. These ELVs certainly have opened up the game, haven't they?
Yeah, most definitely, Scott. And I think it's important too. East and Brothers have been the 2 best sides in the competition this year. And I think it is a great reward for both coaches. They've done a fantastic job. And they've both got to the grand final playing positive rugby. And I think that, already today after 20 minutes we've seen a good spectacle, and, we've also seen the physical contest, and, it's a great grand final.
So, scrum to pack down. East ball after a promising move by Brothers. Unfortunately, as a result of poor handling, where an opportunity was down that far side on the eastern side of Ballymore here.
Andrew Walker on the short side.
Well, East used Walker with Brandon very nicely and Franks. So there's Franks back to
David Lucas to utilise his left foot.
So a nice clearing kick from Lucas. So that line out just inside East 22 with Brothers to throw the ball in. So Brothers number 6, that's Andrew Shaw. McGibbon, 10 to Murphy. Good run by Murphy. That's Simon Price with the ball at the back of that ruck picking up, and he's lost that, so it's a turnover here. And East have put that downfield. Paul Donnelly's chasing, that's into touch, 10 metres into Brothers' side of the halfway line.
There's 2 balls that Crofty's turned over in contact there, and both times in good field position, so he'll be extremely disappointed with that.
So Brothers with the line out. Referee Marks just checks the gap there. He's happy now. Brothers just throw this ball right on the 10 metre line on their side of halfway. And that's a turnover there at the line out. Referee Marks playing advantage. Curtis Franks at halfback. Nice ball out there. Number 3 is Pat Ritchie.
Look, this is a brave effort by Matty Brandon. I know I keep going on about it, but I'm not quite sure that it's serving much purpose to both him nor East. And I'd be very surprised if he if he made it through to half time.
Well, we saw Andrew Walker going to fly half there to cater for that, Phil. So
Yeah, East have done that all year. They've had Andrew and Matt playing as first receivers at different occasions, but I just think he's clearly playing on one leg, and
he's Aiden Tua with a nice little run.
You'd hate to see East get hurt in defence because Matty was unable to fulfil his role.
Curtis Franks here, ruck just on the 10-metre line. He's searching for the ball there. It's on East side. Was that player offside? Simon Price looked close to offside there.
Well, you're the former ref, Scott. I think if anyone was to know, it'd be you.
Curtis Franks here. As a
Herman
nice
Porter.
pass to Herman Porter. And Porter makes a bust up to the 10-metre line in Brothers territory, but it looks as though that's a turnover. McGibbon's going in there. It's a free kick, in fact, to Brothers for not rolling away at the tackle there.
Look,
So
in defence of Herman Porter there, I think it's difficult to release that ball at the breakdown. There's a massive bodies. I'm not quite sure there was intent from either side to roll away, and that for me is one of the great inconsistencies with refereeing the modern game. There's two dreadful chip kicks there from Brothers.
And here's an opportunity for East. After McGibbon, that's Pat Ritchie again. He's having a good game, the big fella.
Yeah, he's a mobile young prop. He's a product of Gregory Terrace also.
So that's David Jessamine who's gone into halfback for East, but East have managed to realign. Here's Curtis Franks out to Brandon, and he's kicking downfield there towards Paul Donnelly, and Donnelly will regather that just outside his 22. Donnelly with the up and under back to Andrew Walker in his 22. And Walker will surely take his time here. Nice little sidestep of Paul Donnelly. And cool as a cucumber. Back to Simon Price though. Here's Price with the big run up to the 10-metre line on the east side.
Starting to see some guys on both sides, Scott, walking. And I think in the last 10 or 15 minutes of this half, we might see it open up, and I think we could see some tries here.
Here's Andrew Shaw acting out in the centres. Out to Ant Sauer. And Sauer's tackled nicely there by David Lucas. So McGibbon again at halfback.
No
Little chip
fullback,
over. Was he
spotted
taken
that well.
out? Curtis Franks there to recover for East, and the quick throw in there by Brothers. Here's Murphy.
He's a slow to scramble here.
So that's number 1, Dan Kilmartin picking up the ball for Brothers. As David Croft has gone in a halfback. Was that ball slapped out of his hands? Referee says no, so here's East with an opportunity out wide. Knock on there by Ant Sauer. Sauer doesn't agree with the referee.
That to me is quite an unusual decision as well, Scott. How Matt Brandon from East can dive across the ruck and knock the ball out of David Croft's hands.
Well, it certainly looked as though he was offside on that occasion, Morgan Turanui.
Well, interestingly, as Phil mentioned before, there's about 6 guys on their knees out here, and a couple of props are going down having a rest too. I think their back line are telling them to go down so everyone gets a bit of a breather. And Simon Price is down injured 40 metres out from the east line on the far side of the field as well. I think this game's becoming a watershed game for players like Damon Murphy and Ant Sauer. Sauer probably had his first decent run there, and he was beaten in contact on the wing by Lucas. And Murphy really needs to control things. I think it was him that had those 2 chip kicks before on the left-hand side. And he's the guy who really needs to lead from the back here, make sure he keeps the ball in front of his forwards. Interestingly enough, Brothers are the ones who are picking the pace up of the game because they're down to 14 men, but they're the ones that are taking the quick taps all the time. So they're in danger of running out of petrol, and they need to get some points out of all their endeavour. But Murphy really needs to make sure that his touches are both controlled and also positive involvements for his team, and it's really important for him to lead his team, especially his back line.
I think just to continue on with that, Morgs, I think East coach Pat Richards would be happy with what's unfolding at the moment. They've had very little territory. When they have got down there, they've kicked the penalty and scored a try. On the other hand, Brothers have dominated territory and only come away with 3 points, down to 14 men. Clearly they're using up a lot of energy. They need to score points, and they need to score them soon.
So we're back with the scrum here to pack. East put in. And Curtis Frank so far having a pretty good game at halfback as well, clearing quite nicely. So that's picked up at the back by number 8, David Jessamine. And he's taken a little run and passed the ball on to Phil Brabham.
Look, certainly the send-off impacts on the scrum as well. It means that where Brothers may have had some dominance, East are now able to get solid ball from every scrum.
There's David Lucas with a chip ahead, and regathered by Damon Murphy for Brothers.
Fell awkwardly there in the tackle, Damon Murphy.
So McGibbon getting in there, searching for that ball. Free kick to Brothers for holding on by East. So McGibbon with the quick tap. With those players back 10 metres. Knock on by McGibbon anyway.
Damon Murphy's still down. As I said, he fell awkwardly. Looks like he's injured his knee or his ankle.
So turnover to East. Matt Brandon out to Andrew Walker. He's going to kick downfield at Ant Sow from Brothers, who will again take that. And he'll return the favour here.
Scott, that's probably a case in point that I was making earlier. With the kicks from East, they've either got to be contestable or they've got to be finding ground. The kick there from Andrew Walker was straight to Ant Sow, and it gave him time and space to operate.
So East using the blind side here. And ruck right on halfway.
Damon Murphy making his way out towards the sideline, which isn't a good sign. That's great interchange of passing there. Matty Brandon, if he looks outside.
And he does, and that's
Curtis
Lucas.
Franks. That's a high tackle.
We had Curtis Franks outside there, and Franks had the man inside, but unfortunately the pass went to Brothers. So good work again, Morgan, down the flank on the far side there by East.
Yeah, at the moment when they're attacking, they've been going quite lateral, and Brothers have been able to really get past the fact they're a man down, especially with Murphy on the right wing there as a passenger. They're defending with 13 players, but those interchange of passes through the same hole. I know Red's attacking coach Damon Emtage is big on going through the same hole, and he would have loved to see that interchange of passes, and Matt Brandon's one of his favourite players too. So Brothers look like they've turned over an East line out here, and they may get out of jail if they get this ball into touch and hopefully get a breather, but they've got the knock on against East, so Brothers will get a scrum about 10 metres out from their own line.
That's a disappointing turnover there for East. Brothers, Liam Shaw sent off a one line-out jumper down. They really need to win their own line-out ball in that part of the field.
So scrum 15 metres in from the sideline, about 10 metres out from the Brothers try line. Brothers feed. Crucial line out there to East, unfortunately knocking the ball on. And that scrum is messy, and referee Paul Marks gives a free kick.
And that ticks a box for Paul Marks. I think he's now given a penalty in every facet of the game.
That's a great pressure reliever for Brothers there. A free piggyback out of their zone as their kicker takes them up to halfway. And that's the first time they haven't tapped and gone quickly. Probably the fact they're 10 metres out from their own line influenced that. But they look like they need a little bit of a breather. And if they can last to the next 12 minutes till half time and go in only 8-3 down, they'll be happy and they'll be able to reassess and come back out with a new plan.
So East are lined up deep here. It's a good win by Preo Cannon again. That's Matt Brandon.
Parlo Talupi, nice and direct, gets to the advantage line.
So Curtis Franks in there again. East have stacked his far side. It's number 6, Luke Bertoni, making a nice little incisive run there. Franks again. On to number 3, Pat Ritchie. Franks. Long time coming, and there it is to Matt Brandon, and he's kicked that into touch, unfortunately, so we'll come right back to about 2 metres inside East territory.
Scott, I certainly think there's opportunities for East in attack. That last attacking play that East had, Herman Porter punched midfield. Because Brothers are a man short, they're working very hard to get defenders around the corner, and they were a little bit short on the hit backside. So if Andrew Walker in particular and David Lucas, if they keep their eyes up, I think there may be attacking opportunities back down the short side.
Well, it was a good win there by Phil Brabham, who got it out to Matt Brandon, who's hoisted it downfield, and that should find touch. No, it'll stay in the field of play. Damon Murphy will clear this out, and looks as though he hasn't found touch there. Andrew Walker, who will return the favour. Nice little chip over. Here's a chance for Walker. Does he get the bounce? No, he doesn't. It goes out on the full. Morgan, do you think, well, Brothers haven't really had the ball, but surely they should be targeting Matt Brandon at fly half?
Yeah, especially on scrums, as they take a quick line out and they're off and away.
And that's Paul Donnelly, the leading try scorer this year in the Trinity Premier competition. Great run by him.
He's isolated, but they get there late. They've still got the ball.
Referee Mark says play on. This looks like it could be a turnover to East. In fact, it is. So unfortunately, Brothers not getting the players to the breakdown. Of course, Liam Shaw sent off sensationally earlier in this half.
Once again, young Phil Brabham gets up. That's a great turnover for East.
Andrew Walker went into halfback. It's a nice kick downfield. Again to Damon Murphy. Fumbles it slightly.
Spacing behind here. and he spotted it, but Tua gets back and covers really well. He read that play well. He's got to get strong in contact here. He's isolated.
Well, Brothers have got more plays at the breakdown, and Croft won that one. It was well done by David Croft, the former Reds player, and of course has played in excess of 100 games for the Reds. There's a quick tap by Simon Price. That player, number 9, Curtis Franks, wasn't back 10 metres. Referee plays advantage. Here's a chance.
It's taken back. That's a 5 metre scrum.
So crucial 5 metre scrum to Brothers. 8 points to 3. Brothers East leading.
This is a pivotal time in the grand final here, Scott. What we will get a look at though. Brothers a man down. Okay, great opportunity for East.
The referee Paul Marks blows timeout. Looks like Jade Ingham, the hooker and captain.
Matt Hughes down for Brothers. So with Liam Shaw already off, it's a great opportunity for East to disrupt this scrum here.
And why wouldn't you take timeout, considering you're one man down?
Whatever you do here, I dare say Brothers will be looking to go up Matt Brandon. Depending on where East put him in the line, I dare say that'll be what they call their play. We went past that in the call, but there was a pretty cynical penalty to give away there, or an advantage was what it ended up by Curtis Franks. He was never onside and he made the tackle there when Brothers were in behind them. And I dare say if that result hadn't gone to a 5 metre scrum, there would have been more said about that. I think the touch judge forgot about it on the way past and the referee played on. But those sorts of cynical penalties, with Dick Marks will have the sending off of Liam Shaw in the back of his mind. And it's human nature to think that he might need to square it up at some stage. So he'll be looking to make sure he gets out of here without Brothers supporters chasing him down the street. And I think East need to be careful that they don't get on the wrong side of him.
Well, you could argue that was good advantage by Marks as well, Morgan, though, because certainly Franks wasn't back to 10 metres.
It's surprising that you're defending him. The ex-referees are sticking together. Well done.
So just a break in play as...
The Brothers have got width here to their attack. It'll be interesting whether they have the number 8 off the back and try and chew up Brandon in particular and then go wide, or whether they go wide from the set piece.
So Matt Hughes is okay. So Brothers scrum, 5 metres from the East try line. 8 points to 3 in favour of East. We've just got over 9 minutes to go in this first half. Scrum to pack down right on the 5 metre line.
I think you might see James Harvey come back towards Matt Brandon's channel here, and they've got Aidan Tour on the open side to help him out. So I dare say he'll bring the big centre back towards that channel, hopefully get round the corner.
It's a good hit.
So McGibbon at the back of the scrum, out to Murphy. Oh, big hit there. A bit of a hospital pass.
Herman Porter, fantastic hit.
Didn't roll
Brothers
away
have been
though.
given the penalty.
East were in 10. Here's an opportunity for McGibbon. Is that a try or not? Referee Marks has a look.
Look, I'm not quite sure what that penalty was for, Scott. It was a fantastic hit by Herman Porter. Referee Marks conferring with his assistant referee now. He's been held up. Look, unusual that East would make such a dominant hit and then Brothers be awarded the penalty. I don't think if it was for a shoulder charge, would it not be a long arm penalty?
It was a free kick for not rolling away out of the tackle area of Chris Underwood, which is a free kick.
He pulled it up very quickly though.
And he's forgotten about it again.
So scrum to pack down again, Brothers ball.
Well, we picked it right with Harvey coming back on the angle, but he got absolutely poleaxed. So they've got quite a similar setup here. Be interesting to see what option they take this time. They've got the flying winger Donnelly in behind as well.
Croft at number 8 for this scrum. Will we see him off the back?
So the scrum slightly skews. We'll have that repacked again. Brothers feed.
It's obviously going to be a tough afternoon for Simon Price here, having to move into the lock position for the scrums. David Croft moving to number 8 for the Brothers ball in on this occasion. These seem quite narrow in defence there, Morgs, don't they?
Yeah, I'd like to see Ansauer a bit flatter up on the outside on the left wing and really make sure that Andrew Walker stays out, because they've got him beat. If they catch passes good enough, they've got him beat on the outside.
So Croft picked up at the back of the scrum there and ran close, and he's close to the try line. We're a metre out. McGibbon is looking for that ball. It's on the Brothers side. Here it comes, McGibbon to Murphy. Here's an opportunity. Got to be a try to his brother Damon Murphy. That's a great pass by Dallin Murphy to his brother, and the Murphy brothers working in great combination there to put Brothers back to 8 points all.
Yeah, that's come at a very good time for Brothers. 8 minutes till half time, potentially with the kick to come. They hit the lead. You could see that Andrew Walker was rolling the dice. He was creeping in front of the inside defenders, and he was always going for broke there, going for the intercept. Unfortunately for East, it didn't come off. Probably not the most opportune time to do that from Andrew. But,
so here we have the replay. Here's McGibbon. Talk us through it, Morgs.
Yeah, I think in Andrew's defence they were in trouble no matter what happened there, so I think that's his only chance. And it's a good reward for a bit of pressure there from Brothers, and it's exactly what they needed, as you mentioned. 7 minutes before half time, an opportunity to take the lead, and they'll need that 10 minutes rest to reassess the way they're playing. It was good work at the breakdown too to win that first breakdown, and you can just see the pragmatic way they're starting to go about their business. And you saw when they first had a player red carded, they tried to up the tempo, but also I've noticed that their back row are trying to play around the fringes of the rucks, try and draw the East defence in, and they realise that if they try and play too wide, they're going to run out of numbers themselves in attack. And it was good the way they chose the right time to release the ball, and they got the fruits of that labour as McKibben comes in to attempt the conversion. And he's
great kick. So that puts Brothers in front by 10 points to 8. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first half here of the Trinity Premier Grand Final between Brothers and East.
The East coaching staff have an interesting decision to make here. I wouldn't be surprised if they said to Matty Brennan, can you give us 40 minutes and we'll reassess at half times. And there's about 5-6 minutes to go. And I think their attack's being hamstrung a little bit, pardon the pun, by the fact that Andrew Walker's coming in to first receiver a lot. And that's one less attacking player got on the outside. You saw a couple of times Aidan Toole beat some tight forwards. And that's what they need, one-on-one mismatches with tight forwards from the Brothers team.
So East used that short kick-off again, and it's Prio Cannon who takes it for East. So that's a little bit of poor work there by Brothers. Out to Brandon, onto Walker. And that's a nice pass to Teolipe. So it's a ruck there. Simon Price is getting him, spoiling that ball for East. Andrew Walker's come into the ruck as well. But it's going to be won by East. And here's Curtis Franks passing it out to Prio Cannon. And he's run about 4 metres.
Great hands by the big lock then. It wasn't a good pass from Curtis Franks.
And Andrew Walker's put a nice little chip through, and that's followed up by Teolupa again, and he's kicked it forward. It'll be Brothers' ball though, inside their own 22.
Damon Murphy's done exceptionally well there for the Brethren.
So
had a lot of pressure on him.
Back to Murphy, and Murphy will clear this. And so the line out will be close to the 22-metre line with an East throw. So Jadingham, the hooker for East, the captain as well, has led this team quite admirably this year. Of course, has been a member of East since 2003.
Yeah, he's a great club stalwart, Jade.
A good win there by East. That's Franks out to Brandon. The cut around. Teolupo. Tua is coming in from the blind side again. That's David Lucas. Can he score? East with the ruck about 4 metres out from Brothers' try line.
Important for Brothers here that they keep the Tigers out. Last foray into the 22, East scored. So really important that they can hold them out before half time.
It's Prio Cannon again.
He's isolated here. That should be a turnover.
Curtis Franks, they're going to use the short side. Franks. Darting run there by Franks.
Looks like Pat Ritchie pick and drive. No, referee marks. Penalty for taking the man out.
Oh, and Brothers tried to take the quick tap, but they've knocked it on, so crucial error there for Brothers.
Comedy of errors there.
It's probably not what Dallin Murphy needed to do there. His whole team's under pressure, and I think that's putting all your eggs in one basket, a quick tap a metre out from your own line. It's admirable enterprise, but probably not what his team needed, especially now they're all on their haunches.
So referee Paul Marks penalising there for crossing by East in that blindside move. We've got an injury break here.
It was a good try-saving tackle by Damon Murphy on David Lucas in the right corner off first phase. It was a tackle that had to be made, and he made it, and they were able to escape there, but the pressure's not off yet. East will have a 5-metre scrum on the right-hand side, and it's a good opportunity to attack from that. I'd like to see East do something definite with the way they attack. So far, they've been pretty much attacking between the two 15-metre lines, not going all the way to the far sideline and coming back, and not definitely coming back to go up the tight forwards stuck on the blind side, along with Brendan McKibben off line-out. So it'll be interesting to see what they can come up with in terms of a 3 or 4 phase attacking foray here.
Just while we've got this break in play, it's good to see the Forex Hill packed today.
It's fantastic, Scott. You know, Ballymore, obviously the spiritual home of Queensland rugby, and there's two very proud clubs playing, Brothers and East. Looks to be a bit of a scuffle on the hill as we speak between the supporters from each club.
Of course, both these clubs, East and Brothers, do have a fantastic support base.
They do both, as I said, very proud clubs, got great supporters. It's been a long time between drinks for the two clubs. I guess Brothers have got bragging rights at the moment today. East lost the Colts one, and Brothers have already won 2 grand finals today, so they'll be looking to make it this Premier game the trifecta.
19 times Brothers have won. There we've got the hill there now in picture. The boys having a great time up there, the 4X Hill. It's good to see it back in action here at Ballymore today.
Look, I think we all love Sunday afternoon rugby at Ballymore, and this is a fantastic afternoon for it.
So back to the scrum. Injury to Matt Brennan has been attended to there by the East trainers, and it's East scrum 5 metres from the Brothers try line. So crucial scrum here, Morgs, for East.
Yeah, you probably should see them punch it up midfield with their 2 big centres.
East are having a shot. Brothers a man down in the scrum. They're going for a pushover.
Referee Marks blows that up, said that it had collapsed, and in fact indeed it had, and of course under the laws there's a bit of a scuffle there between Crofty and one of his opponents.
And Jade Ingham.
Yeah, that's smart from Crofty, giving his front row a little bit more time to reset for an important scrum. He knows all the tricks of the trade, and as Phil mentioned earlier in the commentary, that East had dominance in the scrum in the previous game, and now with the man down, Brothers will be under a lot of pressure here. So that first scrum looked like it was going a long way forward, so if they can keep it up, they're a definite chance of going all the way.
Young Sam Cummins here at loose head for East. He's done very well this year. Got himself a lot fitter than he's been in previous seasons, and his play and East have really benefited from that new approach to his fitness.
Of course, both Cummins and Ritchie are former Australian schoolboys front rowers.
Yeah, both 2 young talents. The Tigers have done very well nurturing a lot of young players out there at the Den, and strategically brought them through into the top grade, and they're really starting to bear some fruit now.
So this is the 4th time that this scrum has been reset. Let's hope that we get clear ball from this one. East to feed. Curtis Franks puts the ball in, and it looks as though they're going to go for the pushover again, Morgan.
Look, Andrew Shaw, you can't tell me he's down there on that scrum.
So there's Franks that picks up the ball. It's out to Herman Porter. Franks again. Here's an opportunity. Andrew Walker. He's got Lucas outside. Puts the chip over. And first man there is Paul Donnelly.
I think that was probably the hit-back option, Scott, when East got that first breakdown. Had a great opportunity for Andrew to come back down the short side, attacking those tired Brothers forwards.
So Paul Donnelly with the mark there, and he'll kick. And has he found touch? He has indeed. That's a good kick. That's a great kick. Andrew Walker restarts play straight back to Matt Brandon.
Paul Donnelly looks like a cut-down version of our own Peter Hines.
Here's Aidan Tua. He's taking the ball up, and Brandon's down in back play, and he's holding that hamstring, so I'd say it's probably all over for Matt Brandon today, unfortunately for East.
Yeah, look, he's battled gamely for close to 40 minutes, and I'm sure that the Tigers have really benefited from his presence out there, but I think the end is nigh.
Well, he's back up on his feet, Matt Brandon. Unfortunately, East have knocked the ball on.
It's a good turnover for the Brothers forwards. Crofty coming in and starting to G up the troops. Captain Brendan McKibben there.
Well, considering Brothers are down one player, it's been a pretty gutsy performance, really. You can see Croft in there and McGibbon G'ing the boys up. So it has been a pretty impressive effort, considering they're one man down.
Yeah, it's certainly been admirable, Scott. And I think, we're all going to sit here and watch the second half with a lot of interest. Has the fact that Brothers have battled for so long with 14 men, how will that impact on them in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the game?
Well, that scrum screwed through 90 and East have gathered the
That's
ball.
That's a great turnover. Got numbers
Porter.
here.
Here's David Lucas down the wing. He had a man outside him, unfortunately didn't pop it up.
Andrew Walker standing back on the halfway. Not quite sure why Walks didn't try and get into that attacking foray there. 20 seconds from half time, that was the perfect opportunity for him to hit the back line and provide an extra set of hands.
We did have the man outside him, so the relieving kick here for Brothers after East were free kick for holding on the ball, and that should be half time here. The line-out will probably be played. There goes the hooter. Quick throw in by Jade Ingham. And East will probably put this ball out.
No, I think East will have a crack actually. No, they
That was a
won't.
knock on. So that's half time, and the score is 10 points to 8. And really, brothers, pretty brave.
Yeah, it's certainly been it's been a great half of football, and something that wasn't unexpected, being the decider. We knew that both sides would go out. There's obviously a lot at stake for both sides. Brothers trying to win their first premiership since 1987, and East trying to win their first one since 1999. So both teams determined. Both teams determined to get their name engraved on the beautiful Hospitals Cup, and it's been a great half of football so far. As we mentioned right through the call, brothers with the man sent off, have battled really admirably, Scott.
Okay, thanks Phil for those comments. We'll be back after the break with the second half in the Trinity Premier Grand Final. We're back for the second half. There's been a couple of substitution by East at half time, Morgan.
Yeah, we've got Jack Telly on for Phil Brabham. We remember Brabham was having trouble with that knee from that first incident with Liam Shaw. And also, Matt Brandon has succumbed to his hamstring injury, and he's been replaced by Cohen Ludwig. And he'll probably go to the wing, I'd say, and Andrew Walker will play fly half.
So, brothers with a clever little short kick there, and referee playing advantage, and East not rolling away. So the first free kick of the second half, and Croft's looking for that ball. They're not 10 metres, and referee Paul Marks takes them another 10. Croft with the quick tap. Has he got himself isolated? No. There's Andrew Shaw's in there very quickly. So we've got a ruck. Two brothers. McGibbon's gone in there searching for the ball. Here's Murphy. He's gone through for the kick through. And that's been regathered there by Pat Ritchie.
It's great covering from the tight head prop. It's 3 penalties in 24 seconds of play in the second half.
Great work at the breakdown there by Andrew Shaw. East put 3 in to win that turnover, and he took all of them out at once, and I reckon they had an opportunity to go right there. I thought the kick in behind was a soft option by brothers and a good opportunity to really stamp their authority on this second half.
This is a great attacking platform here, Morgs. They've got options both sides. What do you think they'll do?
I'd expect them that they've stacked the right-hand side here, so they'll probably look for Sauer or Murphy to try and get them one-on-one and try and beat this drift defence. Aidan Till is slotted back into full-back there, and he's covering over on the left-hand side.
So brothers have stacked the far side, the eastern side, and it's Croft picking up at the base of the scrum, and he's run about a metre. Back to McGibbon, to Murphy, out to Gendall, on to Sauer. That's a good run by Sauer. Can he score? He's about a metre out.
You've called it perfectly, Morgs. I think you've seen this game before.
So there's brothers again taking the ruck ball there. Referee Paul Marks has his hand out for advantage. McGibbon's in there. Goes for a bit of a swan dive, but Marks gives the penalty. And so, brothers with another opportunity here. Surely they'll keep the ball in hand, and it looks like they will. McGibbon's going to take the quick tap. So McGibbon out to Murphy. Went straight over. It's cleaned up there by
Daniel Kilmartin, I think. That was great reaction by the big front rower.
Murphy again. Was
Look,
that slap down? Referee Paul Marks said yes.
Yeah, I think he has to be sin bin here. That's a ridiculous penalty from East. There's no point waving your hands right in front of the post. That's a complete lack of composure there, and I think the referee would be well within his rights to pull out the yellow card there.
So Paul Marks speaking to Jade Ingham, the captain of East. No yellow card on this occasion, and brothers will take the points with...
Look, just while Brendan McGibbon's lining up the kick, Scott, I'd like to ask a former referee, is that not a case to perhaps use a yellow card? I know that coaches sometimes get a little bit frustrated when the yellow card's brought out towards the back end of the game when, obviously the result is in the balance. Was that not an opportunity there to perhaps pull it out?
I guess it depends on whether he's calling that a deliberate act straight away or whether it's a team infringement. He may have well said there that this is the second or third team infringement the next time it goes to the bin. Unfortunately, we don't have the audio to hear what referee Mark said on this occasion.
I just think with 4 penalties in 2 minutes after half-time, that was probably an opportunity for referee Marks to assert a little bit more control on the fixture.
So Brendan McGibbon adds the 3 points. That takes brothers out by 5 points, 13 points to 8. We've had just on 3 minutes in the second half of the Trinity Premier Final.
It looked like that was a general warning that he gave the East captain there, so I dare say that the next cynical or even 50-50 penalty that goes against East, he'll reach for the pocket. And I think he's set the standard now and he has to adhere to it.
So Andrew Walker with the restart. East have gone short again. That's Simon Price taking the ball.
That's a great take from Simon Price.
Brendan McGibbon out to Murphy again. Out to his brother Damon Murphy. And this is Harvey. It's a good run by Harvey. Sowers in there supporting him, as is the fullback Damon Murphy. And Dallin Murphy has gone to halfback for Brothers. Back to McGibbon, who's put the ball downfield. And Aidan Toole will take that just inside his 22, and he'll have plenty of time to put this ball out. And that's a good kick back down, and there's a quick throw in there by McGibbon. McGibbon right on the spot, having a fantastic game. That's a good darting run. He beat 3 there, but he's going to be bundled into touch. Right on halfway, there's a scuffle broken out again here. Andrew Shaw's been involved.
Look, I think that was probably a little bit needless there as Andrew Shaw to run in, and perhaps Tua did go on with the tackle a little bit longer than he should have.
Well, Jade Ingham's in there now as well with Damon Murphy, and it has spilled onto the sideline, and referee Paul Marks will need to get control of this fixture now. We've already had Liam Shaw sent off once. It's still going on.
Look, I think that the captains of both sides need to take their respective sides and have a little bit of a chat. They both need to cool their jets a little bit. It's been a great game so far. It's been physical, which is what we would hope for in a grand final, but the last thing either side needs now is a loss of composure and players sent to the bin or sent off in Liam Shaw's case.
Well, that was World Championship Wrestling. There were chairs, there's even a stuffed tiger involved in that, so that was great stuff for the crowd, and they're very close to the action, so I think there could have been some crowd involvement as well, you never know, but this will be interesting to see what the assistant referee's report is, and neither team can afford to lose a player now. The Brothers have a chance to do something really special with 14 men. And it's quite puzzling, Brendan McKibben's options there. The first time he had the ball back when the play was going on, he made the right option, he plugged the corner, he said to East, you make the play, we're leading 38. And then when he was under a little bit of pressure, he took the quick line out and he got bundled into touch. So I think the Brothers need to work out the way they want to play this game, and their halfback needs to lead the way. He's their captain, he's their point scorer, and he's been their best player so far. So look for him to show some real leadership in the way they play this game.
So referee Paul Marks, after a long chat with his assistant referee in Stephen Hill, has called out Andrew Shaw and also the two captains in Brendan McGibbon and Jade Ingham, and he's having a lot to say here.
Yeah.
And I would suggest he's probably saying, let's calm down, fellas, because we've already had the one sent off, we don't need any more.
I think so, Morgan. You make a good point. With Brothers up 13-8, East, I think, probably putting themselves under a little bit of pressure now, have the advantage of the extra man and probably thinking, we should be leading now. It'd be, tactically astute for Brothers to punch the corners and say to East, let's see how you can go. You've got 80 metres to play with. Have a crack. A young East side. As I said, the Brothers really need to be putting the heat back onto East now with some good field position.
Okay, so calm has been restored, and we're going to restart play with the line out with Ingham throwing in to Prio Cannon. Out to Curtis Franks to Andrew Walker. And now here's an opportunity for East down the eastern side.
Talupi.
Great run by Talupi. And it's a ruck with East still in possession just outside the 22. There's Curtis Franks, and that's on to Pat Ritchie, who's lost the ball.
If Brothers can shift this, they've got massive numbers here on the left.
So Andrew Shaw's gone into halfback. In fact, Murphy's now gone in there as Shaw entered that ruck.
He's done well to slow it down. I'm not sure if they want Crofty as first receiver there.
Here's McGibbon. He's kept the ball in play, and we'll have a line out. Unfortunately, just ran out of space there, Morgan.
Yeah, they were unfortunate on that turnover. They got slow ball. They needed it straight away. East had the chance to get round the corner in defence, and once again you see East chance their arm going wide on the left-hand side, and a one-on-one miss by James Harvey lets them get in behind the Brothers' defence, and that's what will make it hard when you're a man down. Once a team gets in behind you, it's really hard to stop the momentum they have. But they did well there, Brothers, in forcing a turnover, and they live to fight another day.
So East line out. Close to the 10-metre line in the Brothers' half. That's back to Prio Cannon to Curtis Franks, on to Andrew Walker. And that's Herman Porter with a nice run up over the 10-metre line into Brothers' territory.
I have to say, Morgs, I've been very impressed with the East line out the last couple of occasions that I've seen them play. They're not a tall side, but they're very efficient, and their options are pretty conservative, I would say, but they certainly do the job.
Here's Damon Murphy with a great kick downfield, and that's going to find touch in the East 22.
That's great play. That's great play by Damon.
Yeah,
that's
good
what we're
foresight by him.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. They really need to pin East down in this part of the field and exert a little bit of pressure now.
That's exactly right. We asked it of him in the first half, and he's delivered with his first real touch in the second half, and it's great leadership from him. And now, as you mentioned, Phil, they ask East to make a decision. Run it from your own line or give us the ball back about 40 out from your own line.
So Damon Murphy having a great game for Brothers. Here's a line out with East inside their 22. Jade Ingham throwing this ball in. It looks like it'll go to Priyo Cannon again. Surprise, surprise, out to Curtis Franks. And of course Andrew Walker there. That pass was intended for him. And we see Lucas kick the ball downfield. Here's Damon Murphy for Brothers. And he'll kick across field.
Oh, I don't know if that's a great kick to Aiden Tua with space.
Well, Tua, I would like to see him keep that ball in play. However, that's a good kick. Here's Brendan McGibbon in his own 22. He has going to have time to kick that ball out, but he's kept that ball in the field of play. Back to Priyo Cannon. And Priyo Cannon gets the ball out to number 3, which is Pat Ritchie again, who's having a good game for East as well.
Yeah, he's very mobile, Pat.
Curtis Franks, the chip over. There's no one at home for Brothers. And Sowers coming back, and that's gone into touch. It's a great kick.
That's a great kick by Curtis Franks.
So Frank's seeing that opportunity there, Morgs, with no one at home. Sow was up.
Looks like Luke Bettini just struggling a little bit as well.
Yeah, that was good play from Franks. Both number 9s have been the best for their team so far, and they're really trying to control things, and Franks came off the better there.
So a crucial line out here with the Brothers with the throw in.
This is where they are obviously limited with the one line out jumper now.
So Adam Benny to throw this ball in. Of course, Sean Hardman out injured, and Benny a fantastic replacement. So they've gone long.
Oh, that's not straight either.
And referee Marks puts his hand out for the advantage.
Yeah, that's quite a bewildering option, I think. They've got a full line out and should elect to throw it over the back. Adam Benny, is a young guy who's done well filling in for Sean Hardman this year, and that's putting too much pressure on a young guy for my liking.
So under the ELVs, it's a free kick, and East have decided to go for the scrum option.
I think that's a good option too, Scott. They had Brothers just hanging on a couple of occasions towards the back end of the first half, and I'm sure that they'll go for an 8-man shove here.
So scrum 5 metres out, East ball. Referee not happy with that scrum. Scrums have been a little bit unsettled today.
I think the fact that Brothers have been reduced to 7 mans
certainly
had a massive impact there.
I'd like to see East take on the blind side here. Sowers on his own there, and McKibben has to worry about covering on the inside of Andrew Walker. And remember, they're a back rower down. That scrum's collapsed on the right-hand side. They're looking to make sure the Brothers are bound. They've got decision time for East here, and they get it back up and they keep going.
Yeah, the Brothers prop he's taking that down.
Referee Marks is playing advantage here.
Daniel Kilmartin rolling his shoulder in there, and that should be a penalty to East.
It's a free shot here for East at some points, and they've got to try and whack away. Over the line.
Jade Ingham over the line there. Held up again.
Good desperation from Brothers.
I think East would be well advised to play another scrum here.
So East with the free kick. And Curtis Franks feigns the quick tap, but common sense has prevailed on that. They'll take the scrum again. 29 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the grand final. It's Brothers leading 13 points to 8.
Young East Tide head Pat Ritchie is really asking some strong questions now of Daniel Kilmartin, the Brothers' loose head.
So this is sapping up the energy for Brothers. Another scrum. Of course, they're down to 14 men after Liam Shaw was sent off in the first half for striking an opponent. And here's Curtis Franks. And David Croft's got his hand on the ball. Is it a turnover? No, it's still on the East side. So East just recycling this ball with the pick and drive. Curtis Franks goes back into halfback there. That's Jade Ingham. Ingham with a 2-metre run there. So we're about 4 metres out. Here's Curtis Franks onto Andrew Walker. That pass looked forward. And here he is.
Herman Porter, that's a great try. Walker through the cutout pass to Pale Talupi, who's been capped for Samoa this year. His fellow Samoan Herman Porter looped, and Talupi did fantastically well to stand in the tackle and offload, and Herman Porter threw a smart dummy and scored. That's a great try from East, and exactly what they needed.
So 13 points all. We've got a game on our hands well and truly here.
Yeah, that was great patience from East. You know, the scrum didn't go the way they wanted it to, and they maintained possession. The forwards were quite pragmatic. They whacked away on the side of the ruck for a while, and then when Walker wanted it, he got it. It was great service and great strong running from their two powerful centres. And once he got a half break, those guys were in behind the Brothers' defence, and it was all over.
If we look at the replay here again, Morgan, so there's Curtis Franks going in there. Now, we're not going to see on that angle of the pass.
Palo Talupi, very strong in contact, got through the initial tackle from Nathaniel Gendel, and had the presence of mind to pop to Herman Porter, who'd supported very well, and that's a great try for the Tigers.
The one thing you didn't see on the screen there was the motion in behind by the back three from East. You see James Harvey, a little bit of indecision. He wasn't sure whether he needed to come in and make the tackle or had to worry about the blind winger Lucas coming around or Aiden Tour out the back, and he wasn't sure whether he needed to make the tackle, and that's why that half break came about. It's good to see that all 7 backs were involved in that play, whether they were touching the ball or not, as Walker moves in for the conversion.
No doubts about that.
That's a great kick from the veteran. That put edges the Tigers in front 15-13.
The East supporters on the hill have gone quite mad. It's quite a lopsided hill. This end is certainly full of East supporters. So 15 points to 13, 27 minutes to go in the grand final. So McGibbon will restart here for Brothers. And they'll go short again, no. And who's under that? Priyo Cannon. He's had a good game today, guys.
Oh, look, he's been fantastic. He hasn't dropped the ball. His line-out work's been fantastic, and his catching of the restarts, spot on. He's been a fantastic player for the Tigers this afternoon.
So we see David Lucas not finding touch there, and it went back to Murphy, who passed on to McGibbon. And now we've got Aiden Tour inside his 22, and he has plenty of time to put that ball out. And that's a fantastic kick by Tour.
That's a great kick from the young man.
So that's taking play to the halfway line.
I think the next score will go a long way to determining this final. You know, Brothers, as we've been saying all afternoon, a man down, and they battled manfully to lead for a large part of the game. The Tigers have just hit back. That'll give them a real spring in their step.
So we've just seen a substitution by Brothers. Jules McLaughlin has come on, I think, for number 8, Simon Price.
He played well. Price played well. You know, had to move into the lock position with Liam Shaw sent off and battled away gamely, and that's a good tactical decision from the Brothers staff to get fresh legs out there.
So East managed to spoil that ball there, but they knocked it on, and it'll be a Brothers scrum about 2 metres short of the halfway line, on the Brothers side of the halfway line.
This will be a good snapshot of the intent of the Brothers team. 25 minutes to go, they've just found themselves behind on the scoreboard. A full back line on the right hand side ready to attack. Will they play field position, or will they have a crack? Aiden to his right in front of the posts. So there's opportunity on the right hand side to play field position as Croft takes it from the back, and he's isolated behind the gain line. They get a free kick, they get away with it there. That's a tough one. Croft did well.
That's a tough penalty. Crofty picked up and ran back against the wheel and exposed himself to a wall of Tigers defenders, and I think Brothers were fortunate to get the penalty there.
Okay, so play moves out up to the halfway line. That's Murphy with the ball there, as in Dallin Murphy.
That's a great turnover from the Tigers.
By East again.
David Lucas, the flyer. I don't think Croft can foot it with him here.
Oh, what a try!
That's a double for Lucas. That's a double. That's a fantastic try from the turnover. Damon Murphy demonstrating with the referee, and there's a fighting background in the back play. Damon Murphy not taking too kindly to some choice words from a couple of the East players, but fantastic finishing there from David Lucas.
So a crucial try at the 24th minute mark.
This is an important kick from Andrew Walker. Obviously will put East beyond a converted try.
Well, Dallin Murphy took the ball up there, and unfortunately the turnover occurred, and East used the blind side nicely, Morgan, to score that fantastic try by Lucas for his second try of the match down in the eastern corner.
Yeah, the turnover was crucial and the great catch pass, just simple hands to the edge, and they used the pace down the sideline. David Croft coming across in cover. It was tough for him to foot it with the left-hand side winger down the flank, and Damon Murphy just didn't get there in the end in the corner. Here comes the replay, and there they're going down the flank, and it's Croft's come all the way across in cover, and Murphy doesn't get there either.
I think once again we've seen the influence of the two Samoan boys in the centres for East. Herman Porter, fantastic turnover on the halfway, where the ball was shifted to his centre partner, Pale Talupi, who was able to get on the outside of the defence and put Lucas into space. And they're having a real influence today, the two East centres.
Of course, they played together at Churchie in the first 15 there.
Yeah, both went to Churchie. I think Pale a little bit older than Herman, but both old boys of Churchie.
So Andrew Walker with this conversion attempt, about a metre in on the far side.
This is an important kick for Andrew.
It's looking good. The East crowd like it, and so do the assistant referees.
As cool as you like. That's a fantastic kick, and that's 22-13 for the Tigers.
That kick does force Brothers' hand now. They'll have to have a crack and really look to put East under pressure, especially out wide. We haven't seen too much of Murphy and Sauer on first phase. We saw the one time they did that, they really put East under pressure. So look for those two to get involved.
So McGibbon goes long, and that's taken just on the 22.
Once again, they've stacked the backfield here, Brothers, waiting for the kick.
It's Lucas with the clearing kick, and he'll find touch. No, he won't. That's back to McGibbon, who sends it out to Croft.
Gee, that's once again Herman Porter over the ball as he secured the turnover.
And it's still on Brothers' side here.
He certainly slowed down the Brothers' ball if he hasn't.
It's good work by Brothers there. It initially seemed as though the ball had been turned over to East. And Dixon goes into halfback out to Murphy. He's got a man outside him, his brother in Dallin Murphy. Here's Ant Sauer down the wing. Nice little chip through. Aiden Tua's there to cover the ball, and he's going to take the ball back up towards the 22. Good run by Tua, but there was a huge opportunity there for Brothers.
He's fallen badly there. That's given Brothers a shot at the ball. Been
Rio
able to
Cannon.
Recycle though. He's been
Nice
fantastic, the East lock. He has been absolutely fantastic today, and there's some interchange back to the tight head, Pat Ritchie.
Oh, fantastic work here by East.
Fantastic.
Oh, knocked down by Brendan McGibbon. That
surely-
was a knock-on.
surely
that
that's
was
a
a
knock-on.
knock-on.
Surely
The
that's
referee
a knock-on.
fined- Yes, the touch judge on this side, Stephen Hill, gave
That was a
almost
Sorry, Scott, fantastic passage of play there from the Tigers. The interchange of passing, and it was terrific to see. A lot of the passes were from the bigger forwards. Been really impressed with Preokanen, the East lock. Pat Ritchie's had a fantastic game too, and then once again back inside to Herman Porter, and his presence has been a really, really big one there for the Tigers today.
Yeah, there's no doubt about this Preokanen. I mentioned Andrew Scott, and he reckoned he was one of their better players, and he certainly has performed well out there today, following his good performance in the major semi-final 2 weeks ago.
Well, he's lived up to every rap that Coach Scott has given him today, and he looks to be a terrific player. Ansau limping out here on the wing. Yeah, and it was great play from young Aiden Tua as well. He received the ball with quite a deal of pressure from the Brothers players. Some fantastic speed and footwork, was able to get himself into space. And it looks like that Sauer is off and being replaced by Angus McLean, the son of Australian Rugby Union president and former Brothers great Paul McLean.
So we've got an injury break with Adrian Dixon, the number 3 for Brothers, who's down. And it's been a bit of a struggle for Brothers in the second half, as we anticipated with the send-off of Liam Shaw in the first half. Morgan?
Well, in that last minute of play, we've seen the guys from each team who will probably have the most influence on this result. We saw Murphy and Sauer get involved while he's off now and been replaced by McLean. We saw McKibbin save the day with an intercept which he knocked on. And those guys that Phil mentioned have been great for East all day. They need to really make sure they play with maturity and finish off the last 20 minutes. Be easy for those guys on a new stage. It's a big game for them to think that after an hour's work they're done and someone else's job to get it over the line for East. But they need to keep performing the way they are. Aiden Tua on the right-hand side here. They've double-marked him. And I would look for East to go left-hand side here.
So Curtis Franks to feed this scrum. It's taken at the back by David Jessamine, the East number 8 and lock. And we've got a ruck formed. And looks as though Brothers could have spoilt that ball.
Jade Ingham.
In fact, no, East have regathered the ball, and Frank's out to Andrew Walker, who's put a nice little chip in behind the Brothers' defence. It's Angus McLean out there, who's just come on for Ansau. And Damon Murphy's been caught.
Great tackle by David Lucas.
So
Damon Murphy was put under pressure there.
But Brothers have managed to maintain this ball here, right on their try line. McGibbon back to Murphy. It's Dallin Murphy.
Scott, I think we saw the benefit there of the wily veteran Andrew Walker. You know, now, as Morg said, the game's there to be won. And, you know, the veteran coolly rolled the ball in behind the Brothers' defence, and then it was a great chase from East and a great tackle by David Lucas, forcing Brothers to scurry the ball into touch, and East have an attacking line out, you know, 18 metres out, with the chance to really put the nail in the Brothers' coffin here.
Yeah, well, East might have lost Brennan to that injury after he finally succumbed to it, but Walker certainly had a great game. As we see him again in action here, and this is Aidan Tour again. He's had a fantastic game for East, but he's lost that ball, unfortunately, in the contact. So, a promising move again for East breaks down.
Yeah, it's an important lesson for young Aidan as well. It's a big stage for him. 18 years of age, playing in a Premier Grand Final, and he's shown some fantastic touches, but you know, that was a really crucial moment there, and he turned the ball over in contact. You know, I'm sure in 12 months' time we won't see him making those mistakes.
So scrum to Brothers, just over 18 minutes to go, and the score,
Scott,
22-13.
I've got to say, Scott, the Trinity Premiership's been fantastic this year in this grand final, certainly befitting you know, the season that we've had so far. As I said at the start, we've got the two best teams in the competition, and you know, they produced a great display of rugby.
So Dallin Murphy with a clearing kick there hasn't found a huge amount of ground, in fact about 10 metres. Yeah, talking about the Trinity Premier competition this year, it was the closest for a while. The easy beats of Norths and Sunshine Coast certainly didn't occur. In fact, Norths led the competition for 7 rounds.
Yeah, Norths, you know, have Chris Roach has done a terrific job out there, and Blair Connor, you know, was one of their real stars this year. Maybe Morgan can tell us about the other improvers.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can call the Sunshine Coast easy beats. They got beat by 3 points by Brothers, and Brothers were lucky to escape that game. So the Sunshine Coast have made great improvement, I thought.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Morgs. They in previous years, mate, they'd been, but of course, once the great Morgan Turinui came along, it changed the whole thing.
Yeah, I came back, we didn't win a game. So
that's a great win by Brothers there. Great line-out win by Dews. Really under the pump, the brethren, and that was a fantastic line-out steal.
Well, that wasn't too straight, and here's Croft at the back of the line-out with a run out there, and he's passed the ball on to Angus McLean, who's chipped ahead. And that's a pretty good kick by McLean, because he's now put Aidan Tour under pressure. And here's a chance for Brothers to get right back into this game as it goes to Murphy. He hasn't got many in front of him.
That's Nathaniel Gendel.
Gendel.
Surely that's advantage to Brothers. The whole East team were offside there.
I think you're probably right there, Morgan. So here's Murphy. This is out to Paul Donnelly, the leading try scorer of the year, and he's over. What a try!
Fantastic finish. That is a great finish from Donnelly. Got his body down low. Fantastic finish, and it does, you know, we've been giving the East line out a rap all afternoon. They've lost 2 line outs in a row, and Brothers have managed to go 80 metres downfield and score a try, which means this grand final is very much alive.
22-18. Well, don't write Brothers off yet, and they've got fantastic spirit, this Brothers team. Had a great year and a great support base here today, but Morgan probably good advantage in the end by the referee, even though he probably wasn't sure he was playing it.
Yeah, that's right. It was great work by both Brothers wingers there. Angus McLean did the early work, and then you see her here, we've got the hooker a second from the edge, and the good thing he does is he shifts the ball straight away, and great finishes try. That's what you want your winger to do. He knew where the corner post was, he got low, and that's a brave try to go under that defence.
Well, Donnelly scored 13 tries during the season, so that's now 14, and Brothers had 2 in the top 3 as far as the top try scorers of the year. James Harvey scoring 11 tries as well, and Brendan McGibbon, the man kicking now, scored 8. So he takes his kick, and it's going to shave the upright, so it's still 22 points to 18 in favour of East, and we've got 15 and a half minutes left in this grand final.
It's a rare miss there from the Brothers skipper. He's been fantastic with his goal kicking this year. Doesn't have that big an impact though. I guess Brothers still want to score a try.
So anyone's game. Just over 15 minutes to go. Andrew Walker will restart this match with the dropout from the halfway line. If it goes to a draw, it will be extra time of 10 minutes each way. My fellow commentator's just asking me. And here's David Croft with a run across field. He's going to be tackled there by Andrew Walker. He places the ball back nicely, and McGibbon will give that. Here's a bit of an opportunity for Brothers. Nice pass by Murphy out to Donnelly again. He's chipped ahead. Can he regather? He could have, but unfortunately he's knocked that ball on.
That's
and
great.
in fact, the kick went out on the full.
That's great covering there from Curtis Franks, the East halfback. He's had a very good game today.
Well, I'm not sure what's happened here.
Assistant referee bringing the crowd back into play, saying the ball was kicked out on the full. And interestingly, after those 2 line-out losses, East have substituted their captain.
That line-out wasn't straight.
East have substituted Jade Ingham for young James Sharrell-Lambus.
So that quick move of substituting Jade Ingham didn't pay off because the first line-out that he threw in was not straight. So McGibbon with the kick downfield. Is that giving away possession, guys? Too easily?
No, I don't think so. It wasn't a great kick, but they've certainly got field position, and that's what Brothers need. There's no one at home now. I think Damon Murphy doesn't need to play around down this part of the field.
Here's Donnelly again. He's had a great game with that try a couple of minutes ago, and he's taken just short of the halfway line. McGibbon there at halfback to Murphy.
He's been a great player for Brothers over the years, Paul Donnelly. He's not a big man, but certainly knows his way to the try line, and that last try has got Brothers back into this grand final.
And here's a penalty to Brothers for offside by East at the breakdown. And surely they'll kick down, take the line out.
Momentum starting to swing here, Scott. Brothers have got a sniff, and starting to really ask some big questions of East here.
Okay, so line out just inside the 22. East 22, Brothers throw. Crucial line out here, Morgan Turanui.
Yeah, I think McKibben's kick off that free kick for long and space showed the complexion of the game's changed now that Brothers have scored. They're within 4 points, and an unconverted try puts them back in the lead. So they need to play down this end, and they've done well there. They give the ball back to East, East kicked it back to them, and then Damon Murphy can make a decision. He had room on the wing, and they got a result out of it. So you'll see, I think, them be a little bit more pragmatic than they have been. But now they can plug the corners and wait for East to make a mistake. And the complexion of the game changes again. Aiden Toole looks like he's stretching out a cramp in his calves, so he's running around a lot there. And when you can push him onto that left foot and put him under pressure, that's where Brothers can get some field position as well. So this game is changing again, and every time a point's scored, it changes all over again. So the next team that puts some points on the board will increase the pressure on the opposition. So it's a great 13 minutes we've got to finish off this premiership.
Well, Brothers came from a long way down in the first grade grand final to snatch it at the death. Are we seeing history repeat itself here in the Premier?
Yep, great match, that earlier match. First grade repeating Brothers 35 defeated Jeeps 30 after Jeeps seemed to have it in the bag. And it seems as though East had it in the bag, and now the tides have turned. So line out throw. How crucial is this line out now? And it's a win against the throw. That's Priyo Cannon again. Yeah. Great game.
Fantastic.
So East taking the ball forward, and they're just on their 22. Curtis Franks will...
That's a great clean out by David Croft, and he's managed to turn that over.
So McGibbon out to Murphy. The cutout
pass. They've got numbers here. They've got real numbers.
He had Angus McLean outside, and referee's got his hand out for advantage, so it'll be a penalty.
Look, I think that's probably, Damon Murphy stepped inside and Andrew Walker threw out the arm. Not quite sure it warrants a penalty.
Referee Paul Marks thinks otherwise, so penalty to Brothers. David Croft has the ball, and they'll take the points here. Crucial 3 points.
Yeah, no, that's a good option from Brothers.
Brothers might be a little bit disappointed. They could have got 7 there. They had 3 on 2. And Andrew Walker almost saved the day with a slap in the face of Damon Murphy, didn't they? East would probably be happy with giving away 3 points and maintaining the lead.
Yeah, I think Damon would have been better served shifting that out to the numbers he had out to his left. Opted to step back inside, and I guess they're probably a little bit fortunate that they will get 3 points when it may well have been 7.
So 22 points to 18, 12 minutes to go in the grand final. This to close the gap to 1 point. Brendan McGibbon.
Certainly think we've got a difficult decision to this afternoon, Scott. The man of the match wins the newly inaugurated Tony Shaw medal. Tony, one of the greats of Australian rugby, and of course the current president of Brothers with was going to say 2 sons out there, but one unfortunately has been sent off. So the man of the match wins the Tony Shaw medal, and that's a great initiative by the Queensland Rugby Union to honour one of the greats of our code.
It certainly is, and with just over 11 minutes to go, who do you think is in the front running at the present moment? Surely East Priya Cannon has had a fantastic game, but Damon Murphy also for Brothers.
Look, I think there's been quite a few players of influence on both sides. I've certainly been impressed the way that the captain, Brendan McKibben, has rallied his troops, and Priya Cannon, as you say, has been a real rock for the Tigers.
And as we speak, it's taken by Brothers. Is that McGibbon? Looks like, no, there's McGibbon there gone into half-back. So here's an opportunity. Crofts is fly half. Andrew Shaw's outside him. Doesn't need him. He runs himself. That's a good run by Croft.
He's starting to fall off tackles now.
Here's Murphy. He's chipped ahead. There's no one at home for East, but I think that's gone too far. Indeed it has.
Look, I don't think that's a bad thing. Dallin overcooked the kick, but that's certainly the tactics that Brothers need to employ now. They were getting some good front foot ball, and I think it's probably the way to go. Punch the corners and really ask East some difficult questions.
So 1 point in this grand final. It can go any way here. 10 minutes to go.
Brothers were beaten in the 2006 decider right on the bell, so maybe they're setting up for the ultimate revenge here to steal it from East in the last minute.
That was good work by Croft at the back of the line out, but East have managed to keep it, and here's Andrew Walker with a midfield bomb, and Damon Murphy's under it. Oh, that's a great take by Murphy. Under pressure.
That's a
here's
fantastic
McGibbon.
catch by Murphy.
So here's McGibbon searching in there like a fox terrier. He's found that ball out to Croft. Croft's had a pretty solid game too.
Yeah, I have to say it though, Morgs. I don't like how Croft is now jumping in at first receiver. I think that he'd probably be better utilised.
As we see, great run by James Harvey down there, and there's a penalty for offside by East.
Are we going to see a penalty to decide the grand final?
So, Brendan McGibbon will take this penalty.
He's going to punch the left-hand corner there, but as you mentioned with David Croft, it's hard because he's the only guy. Oh, he's missed touch.
Well, that's crucial.
And he'll go long left open.
Well, that was crucial because Brothers had that penalty, and a line out in the 22, in the East 22, would have been crucial for Brothers at this stage of the match.
Yeah, they're really starting to mount pressure now, Brothers, and they needed that kick to go out. Look, it's not a bad result. They still got a throw into the line out on the halfway. It's not a bad attacking position, but obviously not as good as what the position would have been had the kick gone out.
So again, that's Adrian Dixon with the ball.
Shaping the chip kick there.
And the
multi-skill front row.
Straight, or wasn't knocked on by the looks of it. So it'll be a scrum to East.
It looks as though for both teams the coaches have sent out the message that field position is more important than possession here, and obviously the way the game with the ELVs, it's easy to get a bit of momentum once you get into another opposition's 22, and I think whoever controls field position, whether they've got the ball or not, will go a long way to winning this game, because you can see the pressure that teams are under in their own 22. So look for both teams to start plugging the corners a little bit more.
Number 22 warming up for Brothers, Anthony Pyers, and Anthony scored 3 tries in the first grade decider. Will he come out and be the ultimate hero for the Brothers Club by scoring the winning try in the Premier decider?
Okay, so Curtis Franks has the ball out to Andrew Walker, and here's a chance because Paul Donnelly came up, picked that, and Harvey's regathered the ball. Ooh.
Gee, Paul Donnelly read that well in defence. I think if Andrew Walker had his time of game, he probably wouldn't have thrown that pass to Parle Talupi. He really set him up.
Well, Nathan Harvey was away with the ball there. Sorry, should I say? James Harvey was away with the ball, but referee Paul Marks said it was a knock-on initially by Paul Donnelly. Tom Donnelly's really coming at this game, hasn't he?
He certainly has. Tom Simpson on for the Tigers in the back row. So I'm sure the Tigers will be looking to his fresh legs to get them some good ball at the breakdown.
So 7 minutes and 36 seconds to go.
There's an opportunity for Tua down the right-hand side here. If he can take this ball flat on the dominant East scrum, he's got 2-on-1 on Donnelly on the right-hand side. It'll be tough for Brendan McKibben to get across.
They've moved David Lucas into 13. Are we going to see a cut-out pass here from Walker? No, you've read it like a book.
Well, there's an opportunity to run there. If East are brave enough, there are opportunities.
Well, and that's out on the full.
Out on the full. That's one of the few mistakes we've seen from Curtis Franks today, and it's come at a bad time for the Tigers.
He's had a solid game. There's no doubts about that. So Adam Benning will throw this ball in right on the 10-metre line on east side.
Look, there's 7 minutes to go. There's still plenty of footy left, and it'll be interesting to see which side can hold their poise. There's no need to panic. Obviously, there's a lot at stake, but clear heads are going to win this grand final.
So Matt Dews with a good take there in the line-out. This is Murphy out to Gendel, and he takes the ball up.
I'll tell you, if brothers hit back here, they've got numbers.
So it's Andrew Shaw with the ball.
Here comes Damon Murphy floating behind the back line.
So brothers stack this McLean side of
Slow
the
ball.
Ballymore. Croft
Slow
goes
ball.
back out.
I'll look for a quick recycle with Croft and go again the same way. Croft going to deck ball out and go again.
Here's Murphy back to his brother. That's Damon Murphy with the ball now.
Cheryl Ambus all over Murphy like a cheap suit there. And that's a penalty. That's great play from James Cheryl Ambus.
So the free kick to East. Curtis
Franks with the
takes
quick
tap.
tap. That is ridiculous.
Well, not great play there, Morgan.
No, I'm sorry.
Looks like he was trying to milk another free kick there running into the hooker, but referee Mark said he's run far enough. And brothers go quickly, but the line-out's set.
I'm talking about clear heads and making good decisions, and Curtis, who has had a very good game, has done that to me. So,
And execution under pressure will be crucial here. A couple of kicks going out on the full when the right option's taken, and also getting strong in contact and maintaining possession. The team that maintains that will be the team that wins the game.
pressure.
So Andrew Shaw goes up high
There's
and
Tom
misses
Simpson
him.
with the line-out steal.
Crucial win to East there.
East might go to the air here. Oh, they're going long left.
So it's Porter.
Isolated, I think.
Is this ball going to be turned over? It's sloppy work
It
by
is a
East.
turnover.
and
I
that's
don't think
Andrew
that was a
Shaw.
great option there.
Advantage to brothers.
Aiden Tua down in the background.
All penalty.
And here we go. Brendan McKibben with the opportunity to perhaps snatch the grand final for brothers. And I'll tell you what, he has kicked exceptionally well all year. And I think that we'll see this one sail between the posts.
So, quite rightly, Brendan McGibbon says, I'll take the points. Under 5 minutes to go now in the Trinity Premier Final. East 22, Brothers 21.
Look, I think regardless of the outcome of this grand final, Scott, you really have to give credit to both sides. You know, brothers have played for the large portion of the game with 14 men, and I think the mere fact that Brendan McGibbon now lines up a kick with 4 minutes to go to win the game, really speaks volumes of the great spirit that they've got within that team and within their whole club.
Well, it's been pure guts by Brothers, hasn't it, really?
It has, yeah.
14 men for the majority of the game. So here's Brendan McGibbon to take Brothers into the lead. 4 minutes to go. McGibbon comes in.
He's kicked it. He's running back. He's kicked that.
Oh, he's missed it.
Oh, the kiss of death from Phil Mooney's cost him. Pressure does funny things to players. We've been talking about it for the last 10 minutes, and it's unfortunate that games come down to goal kickers, and with 3.5 minutes to go, Brothers still trail East 22-21. And I'm sure there'll be another opportunity for a team to lose or win this game.
Well, McGibbon, reading his body language, it looked as though it went straight over the black dot, but it just shaved the uprights. So here we go with Andrew Walker with a restart. It's gone straight to David Croft. What can Croft do? He's given it to who? Of course, Brendan McGibbon. Gee, he's been involved a lot in the game
He's
today.
tackled by Pre-Ockenden.
And here's a ruck
They don't need to
to...
muck around here. They can just play field position. There's still 3 full minutes to go.
He certainly don't want to give Brendan McGibbon another opportunity to kick a goal,
So Croft
Because
goes
I-
into half-back here.
because the sharpshooter will not miss two.
David Croft makes a bustling run from the base of that ruck. Has he been isolated? No, he hasn't. There's McGibbon. Out to Murphy. Out to Harvey with the ball.
Into
And
obstruction there.
play on. McGibbon, Murphy.
Well, here's a go.
He's a fantastic
Harvey on the
opportunity.
outside of
Harvey,
the
great run
defence.
by Harvey, still going. And we're up to the East 22. Brothers in possession.
And there's
2
a
minutes
knock
to
on.
go.
There's a knock on.
Crucial knock on there by Brothers. 2 minutes 30 to go in the grand final. East 22, Brothers 21. Looks like we're going to see a very close finish here. It can still go either way.
Now, it's important here that East have a good set piece and that Andrew Walker gets really good field position on the kick. Brothers will be doing everything in their powers to make sure that the ball's back in play quickly, so East need a good kick chase here. Damon Murphy, the master of broken field running, you don't want to give him one last opportunity.
Well, crucially, the scrum's inside the 22, so Walker should be able to find touch here and slow the game down. And another repack will suit East.
Inside the last 2 minutes now.
Fortune favours the brave, and there is a run opportunity for East. What odds they run the ball? They've got Andrew Walker at 10. They've got that great midfield, but I dare say they'll play to the sideline and try and run down the clock. A couple of repacks should see them win the comp.
Okay, so here we go. This scrum with Curtis Franks feeding the ball in. Brothers push them forward. That's a good scrum by Brothers. They've turned it, and that's a bit of a wayward pass to David Lucas. So we've got a line out, so Brothers still have an opportunity.
That is a great scrum from Brothers.
It's a knock. Is it a knock on? He's ruled a knock on at the back of the scrum. Scrum feed right hand side, 20 metres out from East line.
That's a great scrum. The East front row have switched off there, and Brothers have disrupted the ball. And now they have one last shot at premiership glory.
Well, the Brothers scrum's been on roller skates all day, and when it mattered, they came through with a 7-man shove.
So we're coming up to just on a minute to go in this grand final. East 22, Brothers 21. Brothers with the scrum feed. That's a good scrum by Brothers considering they're down to one man. It's David Croft at the back of the scrum. It's a ruck right on the 22. McGibbon goes in
penalty to East. I think that was David Lucas who went hard at the footy. Yes, it is David Lucas. He's had a terrific game this afternoon.
So
the Tigers are up.
East will keep the ball in play here and take the time down.
The veteran Andrew Walker running down the clock.
Yeah, there will be another play from this lineup. There's still time. The Brothers will just need to maintain possession, see what they can come up with. Their big players need to touch the ball in these final seconds if there any chance.
That is a great kick by Andrew Walker.
They'll probably go.
Here we go. Damon Murphy, one last chance.
Murphy with the ball just outside Brother.
And he's found space. He's found space.
It's on to his brother, Dallin Murphy. He's got a man outside him in
James Harvey and Andrew Walker.
Good tackle.
Ties him up.
Good tackle by Walker, tiring up.
Next stoppage, and that's full time.
So the full-time siren goes. It's Brothers in possession.
East need to be disciplined here. They can ill afford to give a penalty.
Brothers still in possession. McGibbon goes into halfback. Out to Murphy.
Nathaniel Gendel. That's a great tackle by Herman Porter.
So East tie this ball up. It's still Brothers just over the halfway line. The full-time siren has gone. It's Angus McLean with the ball. And so Brothers, they've lost that forward. And all East have to do now is kick this ball out.
And the Tigers have won the premiership.
Curtis Franks goes to the far side and he's kicked it over. And is it going to touch? Yes, it is.
The Tigers are the 2008 Trinity Premiers. And they on the field, the crowd on the field. That's a fantastic performance from the Tigers.
So the hill overflows, the East supporters come running on. East have won this epic struggle today by 22 points to 21.
As we mentioned at the start, Scott, a fantastic performance from both sides. Brothers were fantastic, terrific, had a man sent off, battled away manfully, and, they really didn't deserve to lose that grand final. East, on the other hand, took their opportunities, and that's a great win for the Tigers and one that they've built for a few years now.
Well, Morgan, where do you think that game was won? Was it the send-off that was crucial in the end?
It's funny, those send-offs, the pressure valve can be released for the team with 15 players, and East seemed to struggle for a while to really dominate the competition of that grand final. Special mention to Andrew Walker in what he said is his last game of top-tier rugby, and a great way for a great servant of Australian rugby to go out as a premier and take home the Hospitals Cup. But, East have come through in the long run, but as Phil mentioned, Brothers have covered themselves in glory. You don't play over an hour in a grand final and win it, and they've come within a whisker.
Well, it's pretty tough to do that, and of course the Tony Shaw medal will go to the player of the match, and we'll go to Phil in a short moment about that. But Morgan, just talking about Andrew Walker, of course he started at fullback, and unfortunately due to the injury of Matt Brandon came in to fly a half, and that was probably crucial in that he can play both those positions pretty well.
Yeah, not many teams can lose such a crucial player as Matty Brandon in the middle of a grand final and still go on, and it was almost seamless the way he came in. Aidan Tour had a very strong game at fullback when he moved there, and the East midfield were outstanding. The way they penetrated the Brothers' defence, got their team on the front foot, went a long way to winning that game. And across the park, from both sides, a lot of players stepped up with the way they played the game, the attitude, and we saw a little bit of inexperience and some immaturity in the way they executed their plays. But of all the guys on the field today, they all played brilliant rugby, and really no quarter was asked or given. And I think you saw a very much deserving premiers and a runners-up who covered themselves in glory in the way they fought back.
So, Phil Mooney, it was pretty hard to pick the man of the match.
It's
some great performances out there. Preo Cannon, Brendan McGibbon, Damon Murphy.
Yeah, it certainly
Pat
was.
Ritchie as well.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game. As Morgan said, there were heroes right across the park, and I make special mention of the veteran Andrew Walker. He's, he seems to have been around forever, and that's a great reward for him that. He can be a part of this great grand final victory for the Tigers. Preokkanen today was outstanding. His work in the air was terrific. Brothers had some fantastic players as well. But for me, the guy who probably was the most influential was Herman Porter in the midfield. His defence was terrific. He finished off a try, and managed to shut down some dangerous Brothers attacks and. As I said, when the opportunity presented itself, scored the try, which ultimately, won the grand final for East.
So there we have it. Herman Porter as the man of the match, and he'll win the Tony Shaw medal. That's a bit of a faux pas there. Of course, that fantastic player for Brothers and Australia. And of course, East will now win the Hospital Cup, which is the supremacy of Queensland Rugby since 1899.
Yeah, 1999 was the last time they won it, and their assistant coach Andrew Scottney was playing that day. So it's a great effort from Andrew to have won the game as a player and as a coach.
So we'll cross now to Morgan Tuanui, who'll be talking with the winning and the losing captains down on the sideline.
We'll speak to Queensland great David Croft, who's kindly agreed to talk to us. Crofty, hard luck, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking to us, mate.
That's right.
Probably the first thing, mate, a brave effort going about 60 minutes with 14 players. Geez, that makes it tough.
Yeah, mate, makes it very tough. 14 players. It's not a good way to play a grand final. It's unfortunate decisions like that sort of dictate the style of game you play, and it's full credit to our boys to get that close with 14 men. Is absolutely amazing, and they should be extremely proud of themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I saw you pull the guys in when Liam went off with the red card. What did you say to them in that moment?
I just said, look, just don't panic. It's a situation where we got to deal with the situation. No use whinging and complaining about it. Let's get on with it. And the boys cope well. Like, our line-out was quite poor. It was ordinary. I don't think we won many of our own line-outs, but at the same time, we still got within 1 point. And probably the gut-wrenching thing is, 2 years ago we lost by a point as well, and it's not a good place to be. But anyway, that's rugby, mate.
Yeah, I mean, like the bravery was unbelievable. That last scrum down there,
Yeah.
your scrum was on roller skates all day with 7 people. You were at the back in trouble, and you pushed them off
Yeah.
their ball, and you win crucial on it, and you hit the lead, and you had a chance to win it. So I don't know if you watch losing grand finals. I don't know. I never will, but you can take a lot into next year. And I suppose the big question for you is, not having had that great win today, will that mean you come back next year and have another go?
Oh, look, mate, I won't make a decision until next year. I could have a beer belly by in 4 months' time, and certainly no way to play rugby. So I'll just wait and see and make a decision. But I love this side. I love the club. So you'll probably see me go around again.
Yeah, and the passion that you guys have for the club shone through in the way you played today, and I think the brothers should be very proud of that and their season as well.
Yeah, hopefully they are, mate, because they're a gutsy bunch of boys. So we'll see how we go next year.
Thanks for talking to us,
Thanks,
mate.
mate.
Thanks,
See you,
mate.
bud.
Well, we're lucky enough to be joined by Andrew Walker now, and a great win for you, mate. You've had a great career across both rugby codes in Australia and abroad. Where does that rank in your career?
Oh, mate, that ranks right up there because it's a grand final. Mate, if you're not happy about a grand final, you'll never be happy. But it ranks up there with the Vikings 3 grand finals here, with the Vikings when we played in the Brisbane comp. Yeah, so that's 4 for me now.
Mate, brilliant, and a great record at club rugby, and mate, obviously means a lot to come back to East, and it's a great club to play for, I'm sure. Mate, it's good fun just being with the guys at that level and going through all this year and achieving that result.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic to play a full year with the East boys. I played half a game last season with them, and it was great to finish, play a whole season with them and train a whole season and really get a combination with some great kids there. There's some great talent in that squad, and hopefully we can probably push them to get into the red squad.
Any names we should keep an eye on then?
Oh, mate, there's a few there. Like, I think Matty Brandon is already in the academy, but I think David Lucas and Ben Cohen. Oh, not Ben Cohen, Cowie, yeah. So there's two great players there, and a couple of sixes and sevens there.
Yeah. And mate, for you personally, that win, does that mean it's a good way to finish up, or will it mean, let's go back again next year and try again for that feeling again?
Oh, mate, playing with these young blokes, they get you up every week, and you're jumping out of your skin, especially at my age, 34 years of age. You know what I mean? But they keep me alive, and I'm really looking forward to playing with them next year, and going around next year, and hopefully coming here again on this day.
Well, mate, individually well played, mate. The way you steered them around the park when you lost Matty was great and got them over the line. So, congratulations and enjoy the grand final victory, mate.
Thanks, Morgs, and I'll have a few quiet ones tonight.
Definitely, well done, mate. Thanks,
you.
Well, that's all we have from down at ground level. We've spoken to both teams. You see the joy behind me in the blue and gold East Tigers supporters and their players. Their 22-21 victory to East over Brothers. The big question will be tomorrow, how will Brothers have gone with 15 men for the full game? But for East, they're the premiers. They've won the competition for 2008. The Hospitals Cup's going home with them, and they'll be probably red-hot favourites to try and repeat that effort next year. And we'll have to see what happens again. Another great day of Ballymore Rugby here at the home of Queensland Rugby.